Hello, good morning. It is Saturday, the 26th of March, and I am still reading After We Fell by Anna Todd. I have gone past the 100-page mark. I am now briefly going to talk about some of the chapters that I've recently just read. So I have read from chapter 18 to 24. And I did briefly mention about how Great Expectations in this book was actually mentioned. That's actually in chapter 20, if anyone's interested in knowing that. And then in chapter 21 is where I've recently just read. So they've basically gone to Landon's... It's not Landon's, sorry. It's Ken's, holiday cabin. So they've all gone as one big happy family. They've done the whole cheesy I Spy with My Little Eye, what can we see on the way? Let's sing along to really cheesy pop music type attitude. And so that's happened. And they've even been on the boat. So I don't know how much money these people are making in the States, but it must be a hell of a lot if they can afford to live such a lavish and luxury lifestyle. Now, in chapter 23, I was a little bit taken back, to be honest. And the reason for this is because I have previously mentioned this about the first book, After, and also the second book, After We Collided. Now, all of these books have been made into films, and there has been a lot of arguments with regards to how the cast have changed throughout the movies, how Karen has been played by 3 different actresses, how Landon's character, I believed he was played by 3 different actors. Tessa's mom, she was played by, I believe, 2 different actresses. And the same with Kim. She was played by 2 actresses as well. And one of the things that kind of really aggravates me as a writer myself is I understand that Anna Todd has allowed certain things to change from what's in the book, in the movies, to make it more up to date with the 21st century. So Tristan, for example, who is a boy in the book, is a girl in the movie. I personally didn't have an issue with that until I read some information about how Molly's a huge skank and she'll go after anything in trousers if it's male. So I know Steph was concerned that Molly might try and steal her boyfriend. So if you'd have read the book first and not the film, you would have thought, well, yeah, Molly isn't really going to go after Tristan if she's a girl. So that bit, I can kind of let that ride. One of the other things as well was that I did pick up was like how Karen was described in the first book and what she wore at the wedding, and I believe the same with Kim. Billy in the book, she has blonde hair. And I said the one thing it never actually said was whether or not what ethnicity or colour the skin was of any of these characters. Everybody has a perception in their head, oh, they're probably American, they're going to be white. Instead of a person of other colour, I think that's how you're supposed to say it now. So, in the films, Landon is constantly played by a person of other colour. And the actor who played him in the first movie, I can't remember his name, so I can only apologise. He was brilliant. I couldn't fault him. I couldn't fault any of the actors in the films. If it was a film and not a book adaptation, congratulations, you really raised the bar. I mean, it was just, I really, really loved the movie. It even made me cry at the end. So And again, with his mom, she was played by a white actress. If I remember rightly, it was the lady who was in the film Starman. No, sorry, not Starman. Flashdance. Yeah, and then the following two movies, Karen was portrayed as being a lady of other colour. In the book, it doesn't really say what her ethnicity is, but for Landon, when you get to page 138, when they are actually on the boat, Tess actually has a bit of a joke with Landon about how pale his skin is and whether or not he's going to work on his tan. So, is it page 38? Sorry, not page 38. It's not page 138. It's in chapter 23. I can't remember. I can't actually find the exact line, but it was very clear that the author was trying to portray Landon as being of pale skin. So it's one of those things that aggravates me a lot, because if you're going to say that a character is Chinese or Caucasian or whatever you want to brand them as being in your book, and then all of a sudden in a movie they're a totally different ethnicity, I'm all for equal opportunities and giving people jobs in any profession. It is kind of frustrating, because I know, like for Outlander, for example, the main characters who played Jamie and Jamie's daughter, Brianna, had to dye their hair red in order to play those parts, because they were supposed to be of Scottish descent. I'm not saying that all Scots have red hair, but for the film, they had to have red hair. Even Claire, who was played by Katrina Balfe, had to change her hairstyle and have her hair slightly darker brown to play the part. I've always said it, there's nothing wrong with dyeing your hair. You can change the skin colour by using the correct foundation, and you can even change people's eye colours by using contact lenses or putting glasses on someone who may or may not need them. But I think it's quite a bold move when you actually change someone's complete ethnicity for a certain character. I know that happened in the Hunger Games, and I only know that from watching the movies, not from actually reading the book, that the designer who designs Katniss Everdeen's clothes, he isn't actually a person of other colour. He is supposed to be a man, I believe, with red hair and green eyes. So, but I really did like, again, the actor that played that character. And again, I think it was so bold of them to change him to a person of other colour, because then it kind of showed the caste system a lot more within the Hunger Games, and how people of a certain caste or creed or colour, it wasn't just about your district. You could be in District 1, but you could still be excommunicated or not be in a certain clique, depending on how you look. And like for Tigress, for example, she used to be a designer for the games, but because Snow thought she wasn't beautiful enough, he basically refused to allow her to keep her job. Whether that happens in the book, I don't know, but it is actually mentioned in the last movie, Mockingjay Part 2. So, and again, I think the same thing happened with Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code. The lead actress had brown hair, but I know a lot of people that read the book said that she should have had red hair, and it was significant to the character to be a redhead as a descendant from Jesus Christ. So, like I said, I've read from chapter 18 right through to chapter 24 now. And one more thing I want to say, this is actually a positive thing, and I know a lot of people are probably going to send me hate mail for it. Thank you, Anna Todd, for saying that Harden never would read Harry Potter. I love you for that so much. Again, being an author who's not actually published, one of my pet hates is Harry Potter and Twilight. And the main reason for this is because, like with Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, she's done so well as an author. Don't get me wrong, I'm really, really proud that she's succeeded. But then there's certain things about her and about her books and about the way the movies were produced that really grated on me big time. And I think the way that she kind of was portrayed, I don't know if she did it herself or like just for PR, as being this woman who was a single mother who became a successful author. But when you actually read about her life, it's not as black and white as that. There's a lot of grey in there. Alan Rickman, he is just an amazing actor, and I really miss not being able to see him again in any movie. And I think when I finally did get around to watching Harry Potter, because I have children, it was because of Alan Rickman more than anything, and possibly Elena Bonham Carter, because they're the sort of actors that I've kind of grown up with, being in my 40s. And again, when David Tennant was in Goblet of Fire, I loved him as Doctor Who, so it was really good to see him being transitioned into something different. And I believe, I always forget his name, but he was in Twilight, who played Edward Cullen. You know, he was in Harry Potter first, and I think sometimes people forget that. And again, I only kind of watched Twilight to make sure it wasn't like anything I was writing myself. Yes, I have read a book, it has got vampires in, but it's nothing like Twilight. So, and this is a book I've been writing for 20 years of my life. So every time a movie like Twilight came out or a series like Vampire Diaries came out, I was just like, oh no, please tell me my book is not going to be like these programs. And I have painstakingly watched these just to make sure I don't make the same mistakes. And touch wood, touch my head, it's not wood, but touch wood anyway, that won't happen. So yes, one positive thing, thank you, Anna Todd. You've put Harry Potter in there, and you've basically said that Landon has read it, but Harden wouldn't. Even though he is supposed to read books as part of his job, and the same with Tessa. I'm glad that he actually stood by his principles and said, I'm sorry, but there's just some things I just won't read. So I will try and persevere with this book and see if I can get all these pages read before the end of Lent. I still have 2 more books to read. So we shall see how everything goes. So thank you once again if you've been viewing and following me online, and enjoy your weekend.